Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Picture International with me, Darius. Today is the last trading day of the month, guys, and the last trading day of summer. So, before we go further, as always, I mean, normally here in these shows, we look at the charts, the technical picture, the fundamental picture. But before we go further, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner in there, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we go further, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. Yep, you feel free to browse here, and of course, if you have any questions, just let us know. So now then, guys, let's look at the charts. Let's look at the technical picture. Just to let you know that yesterday we didn't have any webinar just because of the some technical issues basically that I had here. But hopefully everything is now sorted. Sorry, I'm just kind of wiping my beard a little bit. But yeah, like hopefully everything is sorted now, so we can basically start and go further. Right. Right, now let's have a look at what's happening here right now in the technical picture on Nikkei 225. The first thing what kind of pops into my head that okay, this is working out because look, I talked about this idea of a further move north towards the downside resistance line, basically a further correction to the upside if we do push and stay above the 50-day EMA. And so far, yep, so good. Everything's working out nicely here. So we are doing that move. Now, in terms of the, let's say, the target here, I mean, I'll stick to my game plan. The 33,000 mark is something that I'm watching. Maybe the area a little bit above it as well could be nice. But, of course, the main target is this downside line. Look, although I'm targeting this here right now, I would say be careful because, again, you know, you're not the only one who's seeing this. And basically, you're not, yeah, we could see some, like, maybe, you know, a hold up somewhere a little bit below it, you know, like we come closer and we struggle then to kind of hit the level itself. And then, you know, kind of everything kind of reverses back down, and congratulations, you know, the sellers are back in the game. But of course, for now, let's just keep it simple, right? That's what we're trying to do this here. I mean, trying to do here. Sorry for my voice. You don't run one day and that's it, you know, your voice kind of becomes cranky a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, for the downside, what I would like to see here is, first of all, well, okay, I have this level, the 31,243, but I get it's maybe a little bit, let's say, too far now. So, you know what, if it starts falling back below the 50-day EMA, this potentially could attract a few more sellers, and we could see a move towards that 100-day EMA right here. But for now, of course, Japan is kind of reacting in a positive way. Yesterday, let me just double check. Yesterday, Japan had the household confidence number that came out, and that was like a tragedy. Well, further tragedy, basically. Like the expectation was for a 37.5. The previous one was 37.1, and it came out at 36.2. So not very confident. Households are not very confident in Japan. And today, I think, yeah, industrial production came out. That was a disappointment. I mean, the previous number was plus 2.4. The forecast was minus 1.4. It came out minus 2. Also something not good. But I think that the positivity here that we're seeing is mainly in reaction to the U.S. market. So, okay, let's see how far this can go. But as that's the reason why I'm aiming only for around here, and then we will take it from there, guys. China. Right. Okay, we're declining. So this is where I removed the downside line, if you remember, because it was no longer needed. And yeah, we did drift back down, and I said to you on Tuesday that if we do fall back below this 12,727 territory, my next target is the 12,556 zone. Well, I would say mission accomplished, because like I said, it came very close to it, tested it. Look, it might still go further, but you know what? If I'm a trader, then I mean this move happened already. So yeah, I'll just take my profits and I'll just enjoy life, because again, this is just like I said, it's never the exact level, guys. I mean, like, it's never the exact level. Sometimes it is, but just don't be greedy and always leave something for the next person, because maybe somebody wants to jump in here and still drive this one lower. But again, this is a little bit on the risky side right now. A little more risky, I would say. Everything is risky, but this one's a little bit more risky. So what's next for this index? Well, in terms of, let's say, data, first of all, we need to have a quick look at that one. Yeah, this morning, yes, we had the China manufacturing and non-manufacturing PMIs that came out. So basically, manufacturing PMI, 49.7. It's better than the forecast, of course, and better than the previous 49.3, but still below, basically in contraction territory, below 50. And yes, in a way, I would say that yes, it came out higher than the previous number, right? But let me just quickly double check history. Okay, it has been on a steady incline actually from around what, May. And it's, yeah, slowly, gradually climbing higher, but still it's within in contraction territory. Now, look, we are having this like incline, and the resistance level, let's put it this way, if we kind of apply technical analysis on that chart on the manufacturing PMI, so the 50 level is kind of a resistance barrier. Now if we're going to break that, that's great, you know, we could go higher, but if it struggles with that 50, I mean, the trajectory then the sellers could come in, if we are applying that logic, right? The sellers could come in and, you know, drive this one lower. But again, of course, I understand we cannot look at it from the same perspective, but just trying to find some sort of analogies. And yes, at the moment, what I can see is that the 50 barrier for China manufacturing PMI number is something to, you know, to work for. And in general, the current situation in China, that's a little bit worrying. So that might, yes, that might kind of have its effect on the manufacturing PMIs as well. Because look, you have your, you know, foreign investment, which kind of is one of the drivers of China. And if suddenly you see that there are problems in the housing market, which there are right now, and some companies thinking like, yeah, you know what, let's kind of, you know, wait, like, or cut down, or maybe lower the our FDIs, you know, like foreign direct investments. Let's maybe calm down on that a little bit. Let's give it a little bit time. So, you know, and then this kind of maybe could slow down manufacturing a little bit. So that's why we could be seeing that that indicator kind of going or struggling to surpass that 50 territory at the moment. So yeah, so what to watch out for China later on, maybe on Friday, I would say the Cajun manufacturing PMI number, that's something to keep in mind. So this is going to be a different one also. The expectation currently is for a 49.4, a slight increase from the 49.2 previous. Again, let's see if we can go back into expansionary territory, back above 50. But okay, I don't want to say anything, but you know, I'm kind of having this little hint that it might not go back above 50. How for now? Maybe I'm wrong. Look, I have been wrong in the past, so just don't take my word for that. But like I said, let's see. Let's rather we react than kind of try to, you know, predict and kind of try to rub our crystal balls and leather balls and you know, like these ones on that I have here. I have my leather ball, which I'm trying to rub all the time to foresee the future. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But hey, look, ASX 200, jumping into that one. Beautiful technical situation here. I think that's great. What can I say? Mission accomplished. I've talked about this, and I said to you that if we do break this steeper downside line, my next one is this other flatter downside line. And there we go. Fantastic. Good result. Now, if you want to go further, north, I would say a break of this downside line is required. If you want to consider some lower levels, there is a chance for doing that. But look, at the moment, I need to see what's going to happen with this flatter downside line drawn from the high of the 27th of July. If this continues to provide resistance, great. You know, another decline here could be possible, and we could see a nice drift back down, maybe initially towards the aiming for the EMAs, and then, you know, we'll see what we can do. So yeah, that's the game plan. That's the situation here. So there's not much to say so far. Like I said, it's working out nicely. Great. Wonderful. Let's continue observing this one. If it breaks this downside line, the flatter one, then my next target is the high, or should I say the highest point of August. I don't think that we will, is this no, sorry, that's not the highest point of August. The highest point of August is right here. That's the high of the 11th of August. So near the 7,333 zone. So this is going to be my next target. I think I need to make my arrow smaller here a little bit. Yes, let's not be way too ambitious. Let's be a little bit more on the careful side. Now, let's jump into the Dow, and before I go further, as usual, good morning, everyone. Yep, good morning, everyone. So I hope you're all having a wonderful start of Thursday. Yep, I hope it's you know, I hope it's like it's a good one. I hope for you. I hope you're enjoying your last kind of day of summer wherever you are. I hope you're doing that. So you know, but I hope you had a wonderful summer in general. So just bear with me a moment. There we go. So yeah, just needed to do something here on the side. But look, for me personally, summer passed very quickly. So I don't know how for you, but let me know in the chat there. I mean, if you think that, you know, you had a great summer, or maybe, you know, you would do with an extra like a few months of it. But you know, sometimes actually, depending on where you are, maybe actually you are somewhere where, you know, summer is not ending yet. So, or maybe, you know, you're somewhere where the summer has ended in July. So, you know, but anyway, let me know how was your summer in general in the chat room there, guys, just for a bit of, you know, for a bit of fun. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average, good push to the upside. Why? Yesterday we had bad numbers from US, and I'll explain why that was good for the stock market. So we had some bad numbers from the US. The preliminary GDP numbers came out. Those were a disappointment. Came out at plus 2.1 instead of excuse me, instead of a plus 2.4 expected. Now, the number was still better than the previous plus 2%, and that was adjusted actually. But that was still better. And okay, the dollar declined, but I'll get to that as well in a bit once I jump closer to the DXY. But look, the stock market yesterday kind of pushed higher, stayed in positive territory. Dollar declined, but that was mainly because that market participants started thinking that, oh, you know what, it's bad we have bad numbers. The Fed was not going to go and hike rates anymore. Well, let them enjoy the moment for now. Let them. It's the short-term moment. I think that I think the Fed will continue raising rates. Maybe not like rapidly, but I think that they will continue doing that because let's put it this way: inflation is nowhere near the target, the Fed target. So inflation is currently in the U.S. is sitting at around 3.2. Yes, it's close, but it can easily get out of hand again. It could easily go back up, you know. So they're trying to bring it closer to 2%. Let's of course let's wait and see if they're gonna be able to do so. But of course, one of the measures is to raise interest rates and this way kind of create higher borrowing costs for businesses, for consumers in general. So yeah, we're saying yeah, and this kind of got pushed away. This idea of Fed raising rates got pushed away a little bit, and the market said, "Hey, great, wonderful. Let's go higher." And look, from the technical perspective, I would say we found a good resistance. I was targeting down. I said to you before that if we do push and stay above the 100-day EMA, my next target is the 50-day EMA. Well, that got reached. Oh, excuse me. Just bear with me one moment, guys. Apologies for that. Just had to clear up my throat a little bit because, again, I think that one day missing of talking, and there we go. You have a grumpy voice. So, let's put it this way. If we want to go further north, we need to see a break of this downside line. I talked about this one, and look, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit on the tentative side, but so far the index is finding good resistance here. It's also coinciding with my 35,077 level here, and great. What's next? Well, it could go further next. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it could, sorry, further north. It could go, but we'll keep an eye on this little tentative downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 1st of August. So, I sound like a motorcycle in the morning, honestly. I'm trying to like start my my voice, and it's I think it's struggling to start, but look, if we do break this slightly steeper downside line, this first one that I talked about, where we found resistance, then yes, this could open the doors towards some higher levels. We could then aim for this downside line, and then of course we'll take it from there. If it clears that one, great. Further north could further upside could be possible. But at this point, look, we did have a good move already. And for now, I will be a little bit more on the careful side. Why? Because, look, we do have some data coming out today as well in the US, and tomorrow, of course, the NFPs. But today we do have the PCE, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, basically. So we have the core and the headline PCE readings on a month-on-month basis. So yep, that's going to be quite interesting. At the moment, the expectation is for a slight uptick in the year-on-year figures, both core and headline. But again, if that somehow comes out, let's say, much higher than the forecast, now we might expect the indices kind of maybe declining a little bit, because again, this would raise concerns that the Fed, oh, you know what, the Fed will actually go for a hike because the PCE has gone up, and yes, that's bad for the market. And looking at the technical picture, before I've mentioned something like this, which I never said that it's kind of, let's say, something like a justified or like usual pattern or something, but this is just from my own personal observation. So whenever you have like one big candle like this, and then you have like a second candle with a smaller body and longer tails, or longer wicks, if you want to call it this way. So then the third candle somehow tends to break lower, and it doesn't move, let's say, maybe sharply to the downside. No, it moves lower. It becomes bigger than the second candle here, and maybe, let's say, and here, let's say, if it would drift lower, it's a perfect combination. I mean, a perfect move, a perfect situation, a perfect place. Why? Because we have a hold up here near this downside line, then a bit of a correction here after a nice good rally here could be nice, and also a test of this 50-day EMA would be perfect. So a good area of support. So in general, this scenario is something that I'm really liking. However, don't get me wrong, unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball. And the pattern, this observation that I'm mentioning is just kind of, yeah, as I said, my observation, my own. It's nothing. It doesn't. I cannot really justify it. I mean, it's just something that I sometimes occasionally see. So I just want to run it by you, yeah, in order to confuse you a little bit more. But but yeah, look, guys, just let's say be careful. At this point, the way you could look at it in a simple way is that if we continue to struggle to overcome this downside line, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit of a retracement here to the downside. If we do break and stay above this 35,077 territory, I'm leaning a little bit higher. S&P 500, so beautiful breakout here. So also something similar formation here. So the question is for me, will it go further north, or we will actually see a bit of a hold up somewhere around here? Let me just put this one on the chart. So yeah, so if can we see a bit of a hold up somewhere here? I mean, look, this is quite an interesting area of resistance, the 4,542 area zone. At the moment, yeah, I'm just gonna aim for that one actually, and then I'm gonna just take it from there. So the fact that it broke above the 50-day EMA, this is what I was talking about in my previous videos. That worked out nicely. Yeah, it broke it. It broke the downside line as well. I said to you that it's a perfect combination for the upside, and moved. Maybe I was a little bit too ambitious with further upside here, but look, at the moment, I'm just going to aim for this 4,542 territory. We'll see how that plays out. At the moment, I really like that level. Where's my... there we go, rectangle. So at the moment, I am just, like I said, I'm liking this hurdle. I want to see if there's going to be some sort of a hold up maybe near this area, and then we can take it from there. So in terms of the downside, let's say a sharper move to the downside. First of all, we can get rid of this downside line, no longer needed. I will take a very simplistic approach here, and I'll wait for a drop below the 50-day EMA. If we get that, then yes, I'll aim for the 100-day EMA right here, shown as the green line. And then something to monitor here is this little short-term tentative upside support line drawn from the low of the 18th of August. Jumping into NASDAQ. So something that I've mentioned recently, and then Monday basically as well, that we might be within a rising channel. This is what I talked about on Monday. And there we go, guys. Look at this. I said to you that if we do climb and stay above the 50-day EMA within that rising channel, then my next target is the upper side of this rising channel. And there we go. We got that move. So now the question is, can we... well, we actually broke the upper side as well. So now I think that it's time to get rid of it. No longer needed. Maybe we can start focusing on something else. Maybe just keeping an eye on this short-term upside support line drawn from the low of the 18th of August. And if we do, let's say, remain above this downside line because we broke it, and this downside line is taken from the high of the 19th of July. If we remain above it, there is a good chance we could see a further north move towards the 15,916 territory right here, or maybe a little bit higher. But look, I would say this if the situation would be normal, if we wouldn't have, let's say, that much data, if we just, have a relatively quiet week, and, then yes, technicals work kind of very well, I would say. But if If you do have situations like these, if you have weeks like these, where yesterday we had the preliminary GDP figures together with ADP, by the way. In terms of ADP, that number came out lower than the forecast. The previous number got readjusted. It was like higher, but in general, it's lower. But look, I want to say one thing that I keep on saying, everybody, when we have the NFP week. I keep on saying that don't try to gauge your ADP with NFP, because it doesn't always correlate. It sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. So just kind of be a little bit more on the careful side with that one. Yes, there is like potential for NFP now to come out lower, but again, we have seen these working out in the opposite direction. So just wait for the number to come out, and then you can do something about it. So now, in terms of the downside on this one on NASDAQ, well, you know what? From the very short-term perspective, and I'm going to take this, I think, if we do fall below the low of yesterday, and that's, by the way, these are the futures that I have here on my chart. So if we do fall back below the 15,361 territory, then yes, I will consider a bit of a move lower. The German index, DAX, there we go. Okay. On Monday and on Tuesday, just bear with me one moment. On Monday and on Tuesday, I spoke about this this idea here. I said to you, look, we might see a falling 3 method, but if it starts pushing through this barrier, through this 15,878 territory, then yes, I will kind of exclude or drop that idea and just purely aim to the upside, because we will be back inside this this kind of range where we were trading previously. Look, we did have a move higher, but then we started oscillating around the 50-day EMA here, shown as the red line. So that's not really, that's no good for me. I don't need nobody. Yeah, but at the moment, I would like to move further north, but given the headwinds that we have, and look, Europe is also delivering some data today. We have the preliminary CPI numbers from the Eurozone. Also, the same stories with Italy, and I think, was it Germany? Germany was in France. Yeah, the France. France. Yep, France also preliminary CPI numbers and GDP numbers as well coming out soon. But Germany is delivering its unemployment number, so that's going to be quite interesting to watch. But yeah, keep your eyes on that data, guys. Again, this could be a market mover. In general, everything today could be a market mover, so just be cautious, be careful. Look, from the technical perspective, I would say that currently the fact that it's getting a hold up below that 50-day EMA, that's kind of worrying me a little bit. And you know, it tried to go higher, but it's now struggling. So that's why I'm not excluding the downside scenario yet. But my downside scenario probably will come on a break back below this little territory, this 15,878, which I already talked about. It coincides nicely with the 100-day EMA. If you don't see it right here, it's this one, this green line, which is going all the way here. So a nice good drop below that hurdle may also attract a few more sellers into the game. So that's just, let's keep an eye on this one. For the upside, okay, look, if we do push and stay above the 50-day EMA, I am leaning towards the upside. Daredevil Dave, good morning. Good morning to you too. I hope you're having a wonderful start of Thursday. I hope everybody else who's tuning in right now having a wonderful start of, what did I say? Tuesday, Thursday. There we go. Honestly, I'm still stuck in Tuesday, I think. I think this is my little, like, my inner denial of that summer is ending. And it's the last day of summer, and yeah, back to school. Yes, so guys, jumping into the FTSE 100. Beautiful test, fantastic, good result. Look, I'm very happy with this one because I've talked about this on Monday, Tuesday. I said to you that if we do pop and stay above the 7,400 territory, then yes, my next target is the 50-day EMA, or maybe even this downside line. Tick, tick. Congratulations to everybody who managed to capture this one. Now the next question is here. What's going to happen? Can we see a break of this downside line? If we can, wonderful. We could go a little bit higher towards the 200 and 100-day EMAs. If that gets cleared, then yes, my next target is 7,611 zone here, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, well, this is where the tricky bit comes in. So, look, I will take a very conservative approach here on the downside scenario here on this FTSE 100. I will wait. I'll move for a move back below the 7,400 level, in case if we continue to trade around here somewhere. If we do break this downside line, push higher, maybe I'll re-examine my downside scenario level. But at this point, it's 7,411. That level. That's what I'm gonna keep an eye on. So US dollar index, boom, there we go. Of course, it didn't like the GDP number, the preliminary one. It didn't like that situation, and we saw a decline. Well, guess what? Guess what happened with gold, which I'm gonna get to in a bit. But yeah, it did. We broke the upside line. We drifted lower. I talked about this not yesterday. Sorry, yesterday I didn't have the video. On Tuesday, and I said to you that look, if we rebound from this upside line, okay, I'm aiming to the upside. If we break it, my next target is the 200-day EMA together with this territory right here of these, and near the 102.94, 95, something like that. And that's a beautiful test, and that's a beautiful move here. So what's next? Well, next is this. So if we do drop and stay below the this hurdle right here, I will go a little bit lower, initially aiming for my 50 and the 100-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, then yes, further declines are possible. I have to highlight this. I think that this is worth highlighting. I think that maybe there's something in my head right now kind of boiling up, and me thinking that this could be one of those patterns, but I don't want to say yet. The one with the neckline and the one head and the two shoulders. But I'm not going to mention that one, of course. But yeah, look, I don't know if it's going to be the case or not, but so far we're getting a nice hold up here near this potential neckline. But okay, let's wait and see, guys. At the moment, look, if we do clear this territory straight away, then yes, further declines are possible to, initially towards the remaining EMAs, and then maybe lower. Gold. Look at this beauty. Okay, first of all, mission accomplished. I was targeting these two EMAs initially. Okay, we overshot those, but that's fine. Now, what's next? Well, look, even if we do retrace back down a little bit, I think that now we can keep an eye on this upside line right here. If this upside line continues to provide good support, then yes, certainly we could go higher. Something that I really want to draw here to see, and look, we still have a bit of room here until we could reach this downside line drawn from the high of the 19th of July. So that's my target for now, as long as we stay above all of the EMAs on my daily chart. If we stay above that, then great, more buyers could join in here, and we could end up testing my downside line here. Look, I do have another tentative downside line right here, which is this one, and we cleared it. We cleared it yesterday, and it was a beautiful move here. Look how beautifully on Tuesday we got a good hold up here as well near this downside line. So look, I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna get rid of it for now. Or actually, maybe that could be a good gauge for the downside scenario. Okay, you know what? Let's leave it for now. I would say this way: if we do drop back below this downside line, and we do fall below the 100 and the 50-day EMAs, shown as the green and red line respectively, then yes, I will aim for the 200-day EMA, and then maybe a little bit lower. This can go. I think, yeah, they're no longer needed. This can go. I can mark probably this, something around here. Pretty much something, yes, among these lines could happen. Yes, could be an interesting level. Maybe this 1921, 1914. That's what I'm going to be looking at initially. If we do break below these two trend lines, the steeper downside one and the upside one, because at the same time we could break the below the 100 and the 50-day EMAs. So yeah, let's for now let's keep an eye on this scenario. But at the moment, I'm still leaning towards the upside. But my next target, as I said, is this one, this downside line drawn from the high of the 19th of July. Oh, excuse me. I call it aircon problem. Silver. Silver is yes, beautiful hold up. Look at this, guys. I mean, I was mentioning this and beautiful hold up here near this downside line. This was my initial target. I said to you that, look, if we do push through it and stay above it, then yes, I will go higher, but we failed to stay above it, and we drifted back down. We just created another false breakout, and we're drifting now lower. Look, this, of course, I really like. I really like this idea of maybe drifting lower. However, it kind of contradicts the situation here with gold, right? Hey, maybe it's gonna stall here. Maybe silver is just gonna, maybe let's say gold, for example, could move further north, and silver could just stall somewhere around here. And then when they're both ready to drift lower, then we could maybe look at this little hurdle here, this 24.36 zone, and if that gets clear, then yes, it could open the door to some lower levels. So that's kind of the idea that I have in my mind. But again, let's not rush into anything. If it does pop above this downside line, great, I'll go further north. Jumping into natural gas, just a quick update from Tuesday. Look, we did drift lower on Tuesday, or actually we were sitting bouncing around here near these two EMAs, the 50 and the 100. And we were kind of trading above the upside line right here as well, drawn from the low of the 2nd of June. So far, so good. Look, I talked about this idea and said to you that if we do rebound, if we do continue to trade above this upside line, we could see a rebound and a push back up. So for now, I'm leaning towards that scenario, and also just for that maybe extra confirmation, you can keep an eye on the 2.83 zone, and as you pop above it, may open the door towards the upper side of the range where we're currently sitting at. In terms of the downside, well, previously I have this level, this 2.45 zone, and I still have it, but I think we could already start looking at some lower levels if we do break this upside line and fall below the 100 and the 50-day EMAs, because as you can see, this area proved to be quite a strong area of support. So if that gets broken, well, guess what, maybe we could see lower levels. Sugar, just a quick update on that one. Something that I talked about. I said to you that keep your eyes on this downside line because we might be seeing a triangle pattern here. And so far, yes, the upper side of the triangle is working out. So if you want to go higher, just pretty straightforward. You need to see a break of this upper side of the triangle and then go higher. Again, not only a breakout we need, and we also need a nice the body of the daily candle staying above that area, because you might get something like this, what we got here today, the false breakout. But the day's not finished, so let's sorry, not today. Today's still closed. Wednesday. Was Wednesday's candle. So yes, we got that. We failed to to stay above it, and we drifted back down. But I'm not getting bearish yet. My bearishness within the triangle will be from around 24.75 territory right here. Let me just put an arrow here. Oh, why is it like this? Like this. So there we go. Now, oil. There we go. We rebounded from this upside line. I talked about it. We stayed above the 50-day EMA, basically above all of the EMAs on my daily chart here. So my next target is this little territory, this 84.90, or if you wish, you can round it up towards the 85. But look, here everybody was also aiming for the 85, 84.9 reversal. So that's what I'm gonna keep on saying, guys. It's never the exact level; it's always the area near that level. But at this point, look, we're struggling with the 81.74 territory right here. You can see what's happening. We had a strong candle here first. Now we're having like a doji. Similar story as with the indices, the US indices that I talked about, like for example, the Dow, where maybe a bit of a retracement could be possible. However, let's not rush into anything. Like if we do push and stay above the 81.74, then yes, I will go a little bit higher. But at this point, if we continue to struggle to overcome that barrier, then yes, I will go to the downside towards this upside line drawn from the low, the 28th of June. Bitcoin. There we go. Beautiful push. No, look, in general, I was bearish, but I have to admit that, yeah, I was bearish. But the reason why I was bearish because we were forming something of a bearish flag or pennant. But what I said to you that just wait for a breakout. And for me, the breakout was here from this 25,810 zone, but I didn't get that. So, you know, we cannot exclude also the upside scenario. So it broke above this barrier right here, this 26,806, and pushed higher, and now it's sitting above the 200-day EMA. So look, at this point, I am kind of still leaning towards the downside, but the fact that we had a strong move here, that's okay. That's already kind of worrying the sellers probably. So, but look, I think that more buyers could join in if we do break this downside line right here, drawn from the high of the 13th of July. If we get that, then yes, great. More buyers could join in. And let me just grab this this arrow here. So basically, something like this could be possible. But at this point, the fact that we are still floating above the 200-day EMA, that's a positive sign. But again, everything can change, guys. So, but still, I'll stick to my downside scenario if we do drop somewhere below this territory right here, this 25,810 zone, because at the same time, we could see a break of this upside line here, drawn from the low of the 17th of August. Ethereum, very quickly on that one. Ethereum, there we go. So again, also the same story, to be honest, not much to say here, but watching this downside line, if that gets cleared, I'll go a little bit higher, especially if it clears my EMAs here on my daily chart. And then, yes, more buyers could join in. Litecoin, the one that I really like lately. In general, it's I really starting to like Litecoin. It's very technical. Maybe I'm being biased to it because again, it does what I want it to do. So, okay, you know, who doesn't like that, right? But look, for now, it's also kind of forming something of a bearish flag here. But again, a confirmation break is still needed. So for me, that breakout will be either the first break here will be this a break of this upside line drawn from the low of the 14th of June. That's something to keep in mind. If that gets cleared, then yes, potentially this could open the door to some lower levels. And the final kind of the last drop, I think, of confirmation could be this on a break of the 60.23 territory or the psychological 60 level, and then yes, we could go further south. By further south, I'm not saying that radically south here, no, but some of these levels, maybe even the 55, something like that area, and then we'll of course take it from there. And now the forex, let's jump into that one. So I talked about AUD USD recently, but basically I said to you that, look, we're in between these two trend lines, and these two trend lines are kind of a little bit maybe on the tentative side. Maybe they're not carrying much significance, but for now, I think it's working, and I think it's working nicely. So I talked about this barrier here, the 0.6488 zone. I said to you that I need to see a nice good clearance of that one, and I would like to see the body of the daily candle staying above this area. Well, we keep on getting these false breakouts and not really moving anywhere. So that means that it's a strong area of resistance, which we will continue monitoring. And if that eventually gets broken again, then yes, this may open the door towards the 50-day EMA, shown as the red line here, and then maybe this downside line, which I talked about, this which is taken from the high of the 14th of July. For the downside, I'll take a very conservative approach, and I'll wait for a break of this this upside support line drawn from the low of the 17th of August. And if that if that gets cleared and we stay below it, then yes, I will go further south. AUDJPY, there we go. Finally, we're clearing the upper this downside line, or should I say the upper side of the triangle, but it's not really a triangle. But this could be seen as a descending triangle before. I mean, and I've mentioned this before in my video. And I said to you as well that, look, according to all the TA rules, technical analysis rules, these tend to break to the downside if it is a descending triangle. But I have seen this happening in the opposite direction. But when it happens in the opposite direction, for example, it breaks the upper side of this this triangle. That means that it might have not been actually a descending triangle. So this is the problem sometimes with these triangles. You're thinking that you're actually looking at that one, but you know what? Eventually, because maybe it wasn't a descending triangle just because this upper side of the triangle was all the way here, and the floor here, this lower side of the triangle was only like kind of here, around like 60% of that line, you know, of the downside line. So maybe it's actually overall seen something like a more of a just a regular triangle, and you know, yeah, and now we're breaking this downside line. Look, I said to you before as well that if we do break the downside line, my next target is only this, the 94.90 zone, and there we go, we reached that. So what's next? Well, next is this, that if we do clear this territory, I'll go higher. For now, while we remain below it, I'm taking the neutral stance. If we want to consider some declines here, well, I think that the better option here is to wait for maybe a move back below the 50-day EMA, but even then, there we would be seeing this as a potential correction maybe to the downside before another possible leg of buying. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. Probably ideal scenario here would be on a break of this upside line, but again, I do understand it's a little bit of a you know, a wait here, but you know, I'd rather be safe than sorry. NZDJPY. So NZDJPY. Looking at the picture here. Oh, actually, why didn't I include NZDJPY in this description? Let me just quickly fix it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, NZDJPY. Okay, there we go. So, Jean 920, you've done NASDAQ. NASDAQ 100, yes, I've done it. I mean, last time we had the same conversation. Look, I do indices, commodities, crypto, and then Forex. And now I'm on Forex, so basically, you can see the list. This is the list that I'm going through, the whole list on the right here. And NASDAQ is here, NDQUSD. And it's on the top. So like I said, normally I do the indices first, and then I can slowly go into commodities, current cryptos, and then finish off with currencies. So unfortunately, sorry, I'm running out of time, and I still need to go through these quickly, through these instruments, but you can for sure have a look at the recorded session. I mean, I hope you'll find it useful. So woke up too late. Yeah, I had the same story this morning, so as well. I woke up a little bit late, but you know, but hopefully I'm gonna, you know, have more energy today. So yeah, coming back to NZDJPY, look, I'm still watching this one, and I've mentioned this before that I need to see a clearance through one of these sides, through one of these trend lines, in order to then consider the next short-term directional move. So at this point, I'm just observing the price action. Yes, we did get a test of the upper side here, or the downside line, but we failed to stay above it. Jean, yes, thank you for that. So at the moment, like I said, with NZDJPY, I am waiting. I'm playing the waiting game. I like it, but I need to wait. Of course, it's closer right now to this downside line, meaning that, you know, maybe the more touches we get, the more the more chances for a breakout there could be. But oh, sorry. But look, it's still a no man's land, no man's game here, and it could still be the bulls or the bears. You just need some sort of a trigger to drive this one out of there. USDJPY. So, okay, this is just amazing. I mean, look, from Monday, Tuesday, I talked about the 146.56 territory, which is magically, honestly, holding this from going higher. And I don't know if the BOJ is secretly intervening whenever we get closer to this barrier or what, but certainly we're seeing a huge struggle with this 146.56 territory. look, I'm not really excluding the opportunity maybe to see another pop here higher, and but then the question is, will it end up being a false breakout? So if it stays above, if we see a break and stay, we see the body of the daily candle staying above this area, great. We could go further north, but at this point, it's just kind of here. And look, my downside scenario is from around the 145 zone ish, because I have the 148.85 territory here. And then yes, we will we'll take it from there. USD-CAD, yeah, USD-CAD, beautiful move. So far so good on this one, because I talked about this upside line, steep upside line. I said to you that if we remain above it, then yes, we could go higher. If we do start breaking it and we fall below the 1.3575 territory, I'll go lower, but only up until this 1.35 territory, somewhere around here. And again, I'm not saying that you know, there is this pattern that could be working out, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. You know, the one with the neckline, the one with the right and left shoulders. We don't have the right shoulder yet, so that's why maybe it's not that. You know, but we have a head potentially. And yeah, look, let's see if that's going to work out or not. But at this point, I would say I'm just kind of targeting this 1.35 zone for now and just take it from there. USDCHF. Look, beautiful. And this is the moment of my like little smugness in me. Throughout the whole August, I kept on saying, guys, keep your eyes on this highlighted zone. Why is it so special? Because it's the lowest point of this, is the lowest point of 2021. And my question is, where we're going to end up being in relation to it at the end of the month. And there we go. We're at the end of the month now. And where are we? We're just slightly above this territory. Now, don't get me wrong. We still have a lot of data to go through today. So, yeah, and the US dollar is a little bit on the shaky ground side. So, not saying anything, but it will be very interesting to watch where are we going to end here on this pair. Are we going to stay below the 0.8757, or actually we're going to you know, remain above it and maybe even actually break this downside line? So at the moment, you can see the downside line is doing a good job, and this one's drawn from the high of the 8th of March. So if you want to go higher, a break of that downside line is needed. GBPUSD. So before I run out of time, actually, so just to quickly on that one, so far so good. Look, I talked about this. I said to you that if we do climb back above the 1.2620, I'll go higher, and also I'll go higher if we do push above the 100-day EMA here. Tick. One of my targets got reached here, the 50-day EMA tick, and then my next target is the 1.2782, and not tick yet, but hopefully we can reach that, and if that gets cleared, I'll go further north. For the downside, I need to see a drop back below the 1.2620 zone, and then we could take it from there. GBPJPY, so far so good around this hurdle here, this 1.184 zone. It's doing a good job and providing good support. Look, my downside scenario is very simple here. It's from around this 183.25. Maybe also by the time this could drift lower, the 50-day EMA could approach this territory, and then yeah, it would be perfect for the downside. But at this point, yes, I'm kind of leaning higher, but I have to say that we need to be very cautious around here near the 186.77 territory. That's a good barrier, and then we'll see if we clear that one. Then yes, a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. EURCHF, beautiful. Look, I talked about this range, and I said to you that look, within the range we're trading below this downside line. So if you want to go lower, then yes, there are some indications for going lower, but still, for me, a drop below the 0.9525 territory is required. If we do break the downside line within the range, then yes, I will go higher, initially aiming for the 0.96 territory, tick, and then my next target is the 50-day EMA. Not tick yet, but let's wait and see. At this point, if let's say you missed the downside line, I would say now just keep an eye on the 0.96 territory. Yeah, if we do clear that one, then I'll aim for the 50 first. Then we'll see how it goes, actually, because maybe it's going to stall there and, you know, drift back down. Oh, Jean, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's the game plan. Look, for me, while if we let's say start trading somewhere around here, no good for me. That's no good for me. Yeah, I don't need nobody, but maybe it's gonna start forming something like a bullish flag or something like that. But again, that's for later. I'm just gonna observe the price action if it remains somewhere around here. And finally, EURUSD. Of course, EURUSD will be watched today. But for now, I have to say that this idea worked out nicely. I talked about this on Tuesday. I said to you, keep your eyes on this downside line. If we break it, then my next target is the area near the 1.0930. Perfect. Perfect. I'm very happy about this. Look, me being right now maybe very smug about myself that certain things are working for me. I'm celebrating that, because not always everything works for me. So whenever I have these things, I'm just like very excited and happy, and because I have to admit, not everything works, and unfortunately, but whenever it works out, I'm just very happy with that one. So look, at this point, I'm watching this 1.0930 zone. I just need to see a clearance of that one again, and in order to go higher, if we remain below it, I'm just gonna observe the price action. But if we start, if we want to look at some lower levels, I think the better option is to wait for a drop back below the downside line, back below this 200-day EMA, below this 1.0834 territory, and then yes, we could take it from there. So long story short, for now, I am cautiously bullish, but I need that confirmation break here. If I'm not gonna get that one, then yes, for now I'm just observing the price action, guys. So that's it for this session. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you really so much. And thank you very much for your comments, for your rocket ships in there instead of likes. And yes, and thank you very much for killing an hour, almost an hour, yes, with me. So I hope I hope you found it useful. So if you want to catch me tomorrow morning, hopefully no technical issues then. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. Big day tomorrow, big day today, don't forget. And by the way, remember one thing, that whenever it's a very like, it could be very volatile. End of the month and the beginning of the month. End of the month, we're having right now a lot of data, and tomorrow, the beginning of the month, we're having a lot of data as well. So expect either go in small, don't risk. Honestly, you might get blown out. Just be careful, be cautious, and risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade. That's very important, and everything will be fine. So have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hey there, thank you very much for watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that. So, like this video, we speculate your next mouse movement will be towards the subscribe button.